Happy Thursday, guys. So I have to tell you an experience that I had while I was in Kentucky last week. So um, I know I'm behind on schedule. I'm supposed to be doing a video on the pre-existence, and this is the last day in March, and March was supposed to be about the pre-existence. So just give me a little more time. Something happened. So my uncle passed away. Unfortunately, it was unexpected. He passed away last week, and so I had to make an unexpected trip down to Louisville, Kentucky, and I had the most amazing experience. I have to share it with you. So I went down there, and I was supposed to leave the next day after the funeral, or no, that night. I was supposed to leave that night. And so I ended up getting a migraine while I was there because right now in Kentucky, everything is in bloom. They're a little bit ahead of time because it's a little bit warmer than where I am at in Indiana, because I'm like 2.5 hours north of Louisville, Kentucky. And so everything is in bloom down there, and it causes me to have migraines, which by the way, on a side note, I went and saw a specialist 2 weeks ago, and we're going to get these migraines under control. They did like allergy testing all down my arms, and so I'm allergic to a lot of things, we found out. And so I'm going to start allergy shots here pretty soon, and we think that will help. I digress. Let's go back to the story. So I was supposed to leave that night after the funeral, and I ended up getting a migraine, and I couldn't drive. And so I ended up going to bed and taking a nap after the funeral. And I thought, well, maybe I'll feel better in the evening because the funeral was in the morning. So when I woke up at like 5 o'clock, and I thought, okay, it's still early. I could eat dinner and then just drive the 2.5 hours home. But when I woke up, nobody was home because this was in the middle of the week, and my cousin's kids had like extracurricular activities, and they were still in school and stuff. My kids are on spring break, but they were not. I woke up and nobody was home. And the migraine was actually worse. It had gotten worse. And so I ended up taking something to try and help it. And I went and sat on her front porch. She owns a lot of land, and it's just gorgeous. She's in the rolling hills of Brooks, Kentucky. And so I'm sitting on the front porch, which isn't the best place to be. You're supposed to be indoors when you suffer from allergies, but it was cold in her house and it was warm outside. So I went and sat on the front porch, took the medicine, and I'm working on a new poem about the pre-existence. And so even though I had a migraine and I'd taken the medicine, typically I can't concentrate, but I just thought, well, I'm just going to sit on the front porch and just kind of ponder it is what I was going to do, and try to take my mind off of how bad I was feeling. So I'm sitting out there on the front porch by myself, and I thought, I think I'm starting to feel a little bit better after I had been out there for a while. And I heard, Beth, I don't want you to leave tonight. I need you to stay in Kentucky. And I was like, what? And it was so strong, guys. It was like, I just kept hearing, you need to stay. You need to stay. I don't want you to leave. And so, and then I heard, even when you start to feel better, I want you to stay. And I'm like, this is so odd. And I was really determined to leave. I really wanted to leave. But the prompting was so strong that I finally just said, okay. You want me to stay? I'm going to stay. So the husband just got home. I heard him walk through the door. So anyways, my hair's kind of a mess. Y'all don't care. So that night, as the evening progressed, I started to feel better. And the storms never came, and it was just kind of sprinkling a little bit. And so then I had this thought, I could probably leave. But I was like, well, I'm not going to. I'm going to listen to that prompting, and I'm going to stay. Okay, so then, there's so much more to this story, but this video is getting too long, so let me just cut to the chase. My cousin and his wife came over, and I don't have a lot of conversations with them too much. They're a little bit older than me. They ended up staying for dinner, and then I started talking to my cousin's wife, and she said that she suffered with insomnia. And I'm like, okay. I suffer with insomnia too. I'm like, so what does your insomnia look like? For me, like my brain will start racing. And I gave her some examples of how, like, I'll start thinking about something that I said to someone, and then I'm like, oh no, did they take it this way? Did I hurt their feelings? Did I make them angry? And then that analysis paralysis kicks in. That's what anxiety is. And she looked at me and she was like, yes, that's that's exactly what I have. And I'm like, okay, that's called anxiety. Oh, hold on. My husband's yelling for me. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, so we started having this conversation, and they ended up staying until 11:30 at night. We spoke for hours. And meanwhile, my cousin is sitting off like about 6 feet away on a stool by the kitchen. And he looks over and he's just smiling and he says, I can't believe she's telling you this. And she begins to tell me all of these things that she suffers with. And she was like, she just got tears in her eyes. And she was like, Beth, I've been suffering with this stuff for years and no one knows about it. I've never been able to talk to anybody about it. And she said, I just know that we were supposed to have this conversation. I can feel it. And I said, actually, you're right, because I was supposed to leave tonight. And I had this strong feeling that I needed to stay. So that was my experience. There's so much more to the story, that all these coincidences that weren't really coincidences, but because this video is long and my husband needs me, I'm going to end on this scripture. It's a short scripture. It is in Psalm 32. And it says, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. I know that that's true, guys. He's always going to guide us. We just need to follow those promptings. And sometimes it's hard because you don't really know why. But if you continue on that path, he's going to guide you and direct you. Okay. All right. So I will still do the pre-existence video, and probably tonight in the community tab. Check the community tab. I will release the schedule for like the next 4 months. Okay. So just be patient with me. All right. Have a great General Conference weekend. Love you guys.